Some players are born into perfect circumstances. Some have private trainers before they even hit middle school. Some walk a path paved with opportunity with every advantage long before the rest of the world even notices them. But Anthony Edwards, he was not one of those players. His journey didn't start with highlight reels and trophies. It started with heartbreak, with hardship, with a world that demanded he grow up faster than any child should. Born and raised in Atlanta, Anthony wasn't fighting defenders on a basketball court at first. He was fighting life itself. Where some kids were taught how to dribble or shoot, Anthony had to learn something much harder: how to handle grief. But somehow, through everything, he never lost his smile. He never lost his spark. He never lost his dream. Today, Anthony Edwards isn't just another rising star in the NBA. He's more than a scorer, more than a dunker, more than a highlight reel. He's a survivor, a leader, and the future of the NBA. This is the story of how a boy who lost everything became the next face of the NBA. But before Anthony Edwards grew up to be the #1 pick and star of the Minnesota Timberwolves, he was just a regular kid growing up in Atlanta, trying to make sense of a world that had taken almost everything from him. One afternoon, while playing a pickup basketball game at a local rec center, Anthony realized something. Basketball gave him a different kind of freedom. Not the hard-charging, bruising chaos of football, but a grace, a creativity, a chance to express everything he was feeling without saying a word. He could dribble through defenders. He could soar above the rim. He could bury a three-pointer from the corner and watch the crowd roar. From that day on, basketball wasn't just a game, it was a calling. Anthony threw himself into the sport with the same obsessive intensity he once reserved for football. Morning drills, nighttime shooting sessions, weight room work, film study. While other kids his age were hanging out at the mall or playing video games, Anthony was in the gym, dripping sweat, chasing something only he could see. He wasn't chasing fame. He wasn't chasing a scholarship. He wasn't even chasing the NBA yet. He was chasing freedom. He was chasing peace. And in chasing those things, he stumbled into greatness. By the time Anthony enrolled at Holy Spirit Preparatory School in Atlanta, he was already on a different level. He wasn't just taller or faster than the other kids, though he was that too. He played like someone who understood how precious each moment was. Every game was played like it could be his last. Every possession was attacked like it might be the only one that mattered. The stats were ridiculous. Nearly 30 points per game, highlight reel dunks, coast-to-coast drives that left opponents looking helpless. Scouts started circling. Recruiting sites took notice. They loved the raw athleticism. They loved the flashes of brilliance. But more than anything, they loved the fire. Anthony wasn't polished. He wasn't perfect, but he was relentless. By his senior year, Anthony Edwards was a consensus 5-star recruit, a top 5 player in the entire country, a name that sent buzz through the high school basketball world. The boy who was supposed to be broken was now unstoppable. But even as the scholarship offers piled up, even as the cameras started showing up at his games, Anthony never forgot why he played. He didn't play for the crowds. He didn't play for the rankings. He played for his mom, Yvette. He played for his grandma, Shirley. He played for the dreams they had poured into him long before the rest of the world even knew his name. Anthony Edwards wasn't just rising. He was honoring a promise, a silent, sacred promise made on 2 separate graves, to become everything they believed he could. And he was just getting started. For most top high school basketball players, the roadmap is simple. Join a powerhouse program, play under the brightest lights, stack highlight reels on national television, then head to the NBA with a resume polished by association. Ant could have gone anywhere. Many top programs in the country wanted him. He received offers from Kentucky, Kansas, and UNC. But when it came time to make a decision, Anthony did what he's always done. He followed his heart. He chose to stay home. He chose the University of Georgia, a school better known for its football Saturdays than March Madness runs. It wasn't the flashy choice. It wasn't the easy choice. It was the loyal choice. Anthony didn't care about the hype. He cared about family. He cared about his siblings being able to drive and go see his games. He cared about representing the place that had shaped him. And deep down, he wanted to build something of his own, not ride the coattails of a program that had done it 100 times before. When Anthony arrived on campus, it didn't take long for people to realize the Bulldogs had something special. You couldn't miss him. 6'4", explosive, confident, a walking highlight reel with a smile that could light up an entire gym. And when the game started, Anthony didn't just flash potential, he dominated. There were moments where he looked like a future NBA All-Star trapped in a college jersey. He'd grab a rebound, sprint the length of the floor, and hammer down a dunk that shook the building. He'd rise up over two defenders and bury a deep three like he was playing on a Nerf hoop. He'd string together 10, 12, 15 points in a row, completely taking over games by sheer force of will. NBA scouts were salivating, but even amid the brilliance, there were rough edges. Georgia was a rebuilding team. They weren't packed with 4- and 5-star talent. Opponents keyed on Anthony every night, swarming him with double and triple teams. The Bulldogs finished the season with a losing record. Some analysts questioned his shot selection. Some questioned his focus at times. Some wondered if he could carry a franchise that needed more than just talent, but leadership, heart, and maturity. But the ones who looked deeper, the ones who understood the story behind the stats, saw something else. A player who had shouldered the burden of an entire team, just like he had once shouldered the burden of an entire family. A player who played every possession like it mattered, because to him, it did. When the 2020 NBA draft rolled around, the decision was easy. The Minnesota Timberwolves held the first overall pick, and when they called Anthony Edwards' name, it wasn't just the culmination of a dream, it was the validation of a lifetime of resilience. The boy who lost everything. The boy who smiled through heartbreak. The boy who carried his dreams on his own back was now going to be the #1 pick in the NBA draft. A moment that wasn't just for him. It was for Yvette. It was for Shirley. It was for every sleepless night, every silent prayer, every time he refused to give up when it would have been so easy to. And yet, for Anthony Edwards, it was still just the beginning. When Anthony Edwards heard his name called first by Commissioner Adam Silver on draft night, it wasn't the end of his journey. It was the beginning of a whole new chapter, and the stakes were higher than ever. Now he wasn't just playing for his city, he was playing for a franchise that desperately needed a savior, a franchise still haunted by years of broken promises, missed opportunities, and forgotten stars. Minnesota needed hope. They needed a hero. They needed Anthony Edwards. But stepping into that role wasn't easy, especially not during a pandemic. Empty arenas, constant testing, isolation from teammates, friends, and family. The world was upside down, and Anthony was just a teenager trying to find his footing in it. At first, there were growing pains. Adjusting to the speed of the NBA, learning the intricacies of defenses designed to stop him, and of course, balancing the pressure of being the #1 pick. But game after game, moment after moment, Anthony's talent and spirit broke through. There were flashes of brilliance early. A 42-point explosion against the Phoenix Suns, making him the 3rd youngest player in NBA history to score 40-plus points in a game. A dunk so violent over Yuta Watanabe that it instantly became one of the most iconic posters of the decade. Rookie year highlights that felt like glimpses of a superstar trying to break free. But it wasn't just the numbers, it was how he carried himself. Anthony brought a sense of joy to Minnesota basketball that had been missing for years. In interviews, he was unfiltered and hilarious, cracking jokes, making reporters laugh, letting fans see the real him. "I can play defense," he once said with a grin after locking down a veteran scorer. "I just choose not to sometimes." Moments like that made him relatable. They make him human and different from the polished media robots fans had grown used to. He wasn't just a star in the making, he was a personality fans could rally around. And most importantly, he kept getting better. Year after year, Anthony Edwards evolved. He sharpened his defense, taking pride in locking down opponents. He improved his playmaking, trusting his teammates and learning how to control the tempo. He refined his shot selection, trading wild heat checks for cold-blooded daggers. And then came the playoffs. Anthony Edwards took the leap from star to superstar. No more potential, no more next up. Under the pressure of postseason basketball, he delivered again and again. In 2024, he led Minnesota to a stunning sweep over his idol Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns, a statement series that put the entire league on notice. Edwards played with fearless aggression, commanding the floor like a seasoned vet. It didn't matter that he was facing a former MVP and champion. Ant looked like the best player in the series. But that was just the beginning. A year later in 2025, he came back even stronger. This time, the road to glory went through legends, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and still, Edwards didn't blink. He carried the Timberwolves through the first round with poise, passion, and playmaking well beyond his years. Every game felt like a coronation, the dawning of a new era. He wasn't the future. He was the now. He's had multiple All-Star appearances, he'll have multiple All-NBA selections, and has proved to rise even more in a playoff environment. He wasn't just Minnesota's star anymore, he was becoming one of the best players in the league. Anthony Edwards had the game to dominate, the charisma to lead, the soul to inspire. With the NBA always chasing the next face of the league, Anthony has offered something rare. A superstar who hadn't forgotten where he came from. A superstar who played like a kid, still chasing his mother's hug. Still chasing his grandmother's smile. Still honoring a promise made long ago when life was at its darkest. From the playgrounds of Atlanta to the arenas of the NBA, Anthony Edwards wasn't just surviving anymore, he was thriving, he was leading, he was smiling through it all. And he was becoming exactly what the league needed next, the new face of the NBA. When you watch Anthony Edwards today, flying down the court with a full head of steam, soaring for impossible dunks, burying step-back threes with a smile on his face, it's easy to forget what it took for him to get here. It's easy to see the highlight reels, the All-Star appearances, the $1 million endorsements, and forget about the 14-year-old boy who had to say goodbye to the two people he loved most. That boy who could have quit, but he didn't. Anthony Edwards made a decision, one that would change not just his life, but the lives of everyone who would come to believe in him. He decided to live with joy. He decided to fight with heart. He decided to dream with everything he had left inside of him. And every step he's taken since, every dunk, every laugh, every fearless fourth quarter moment, has been a tribute to the women who first taught him how to dream. He wears the number 5, not because it looks cool, but because it carries the memory of both his mother and grandmother. Anthony Edwards is more than an athlete. He's more than a scorer, more than a showman. He's a reminder that loss doesn't have to define you, that pain doesn't have to imprison you, that even when the world crumbles around you, you can still choose joy. You can still choose fire. You can still choose greatness. In a league constantly searching for the next big thing, the next jersey seller, the next highlight machine, the NBA has found something better, a soul, a fighter, a face that tells a real story. That's how a boy who lost everything became the next face of the NBA. But what do you guys think? Do you believe Anthony Edwards is the next face of the NBA? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you liked this documentary style video, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this one. We'll see you in the next one.